Is this thing on? Welcome back to Big Mouth, and fancy seeing you here in June. A very welcome, my friends, and especially my enemies. Come in, sit down, no touching. I don't do the touching. Hello, and welcome back to Big Mouth, and you can keep this or any other conversation I ignite going on over on my Twitter, yes, outside there on my balcony, at Movies TV Mad. It's not called outside there on my balcony, at Movies TV Mad, my Vero, at Big Mouth 1, and the extension kind of to this channel is my Instagram, Big Mouth 11289. How do I remember that? A very good morning and welcome to Friday's edition of the DCEU Daily. Another very exciting edition as we talk about Zack Snyder, the Snyder Cut, because Zack Snyder has been talking and he's launched a really exciting competition. And I'm going to read out what he had to say in a minute. And it's now or never for Henry Cavill, because one thing's for sure, his Witcher series that he stars in is, if it's not the most, is one of the most watched series on Netflix history. Part of that, of course, and we'll go into that in a minute more, part of that, of course, is The Witcher was a very, very popular game. But we are going to talk about that a little bit later on. Not that later, after we talk about Zack and Release the Snyder Cut, because we really haven't been talking about Release the Snyder Cut that much. So many things have broken this week. J.J. Abrams developing Justice League and the Superman movie and Justice League Dark. Very exciting times for the DC expanded live-action universe. So what has Zack Snyder had to say? Let's have a look. Excited about the official Vero account showcasing fan-created posters for Zack Snyder's JL to celebrate the amazing talents of the dedicated fans who have shown so much support and creativity over the years. I've been going through my office trying to find some cool pieces of memorabilia from the film to give away. To the artist that the best captures the spirit of the movie, I will post the object in the coming days. Now, when he says object from the movie, I'm assuming he's not talking about Justice League. It would be very hard for an artist to come up with the spirit of his cut of Justice League, seeing we haven't seen it yet, right? Although maybe he could show it to the artist so they could be inspired. But I'm assuming he's talking about MOS 300, BVS MOS 300, and anything else that he's done. So this is very, very exciting. But it does seem like he's talking about Justice League, doesn't it? So it looks like you get to do a poster of Justice League, and then basically he will choose a winner. Very, very exciting. But why? Why would you need a poster for a movie that's never going to be released? That's what a lot of people are saying on Twitter from the movement. Look, this is very, very exciting, of course. And I think, yes, basically, I'm looking on here, and I think this is an official kind of memo from RT Snyder Cut. I think it's from them anyway. And this is what it says. Zack Snyder's Justice League fan posters. What do you think the JO poster should look like? Say, it's definitely a Justice League Snyder Cut poster. Interesting. So you have to kind of, in your art, capture, the power of the movie, what the movie represents to you. So I suppose you can do that in your imagination. We've got so much information about the Snyder Cut, what the Snyder Cut is now, that probably there is this thing that in your mind, you know that this is going to be a 3.5, 4-hour epic movie. And it's Zack Snyder, and it absolutely is. So I think this is a brilliant campaign. This is very, very exciting. And so I would implore, I'm not a good artist. I'm not going to waste my time. But I would implore all of you to go to RT Snyder Cut on Twitter. I think they've got a website as well. I think. Also, just go to Vero, and I think there'll be information on there. If you haven't joined the Vero social network, have no fear. Join it. There's no toxicity there. It's a very, very calm, placid place to be, a safe place for geeks and nerds to be. I think it's wonderful. I don't use it enough. I mainly use it to share my YouTube videos, but I should go on there enough because there's a few people following me on there. Not many, very, very, very few, but I appreciate them. A couple of them have spoken to me. Again, have DM'd me, and that's very, very exciting. So, yes, if you're a budding artist, if you're a Release the Snyder Cut, if you're part of the movement and you're passionate about this, please, please do enter. It's very, very exciting, and I can't wait to see the kind of entries we get. So here's me at first assuming that this wasn't a Justice League poster. It actually is a Justice League poster, so I apologise for my mistake there. And this really gets exciting. To my next point, though, moving on from that, which is very exciting, but we can't talk about it forever, obviously. So get entering for that one. I just spoke to you the other day about Justice League, the Snyder Cut of Justice League being released this April. Now, there's an IMDb, a fake IMDb saying that, but I believe there is something to this, because February the 7th, Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of one Harley Quinn. I'm going to say something about that movie in a minute. Basically, that releases February the 7th, right? What's that going to be in pictures? It's going to be in cinema. Sorry, Americans don't understand the term pictures. Pictures is a nickname us British, us Cockneys call the cinema or the theatre, like you do, right? So that's going to be there, a month and a half, maybe 2 months at most. So it basically, Birds of Prey would have tailed off by April. So I think, look, we've been going at this for a couple of years now. We've heard rumours, it's going to be released here, then. Nothing ever happens, and it may not be released in April. But I would garner a 25 to a 45% chance that we might have the Snyder Cut released in theatres on a limited release, and then HBO Max in April. Or it could just launch on HBO Max. What is the likelihood of this? I've just said 25% to 45%, but keep your ears open. And if you hear anything, let me know. And if I hear anything, I'll let you know. Deal? Right, so Christina Hodgson, or Chris as I like to call her, right, is a really good writer. She wrote Birds of Prey. She's going to write the Flash movie. And she was interviewed at one of the screenings, and I thought, she was asked basically about women not needing men in this movie. And she said, we had to make sure that the women in this movie didn't need men to save them. This is where I don't think this is Chris's fault. She was asked a question. She answered it in the only way she really could. She didn't do a Patty Jenkins and a Gal Gadot where they find a better way of doing it. But anyway, right, she basically said, yeah, we don't want women to rely on men in this film. I think it's funny because even as a man, when I saw this film, if I saw a girl gang movie and the girls in the movie, the women in the movie were relying on men, even me as a man would be scratching my head. It's never going to happen. It's a dumb question. And really, Christina, really, Chris, you should have really thought of a better way of answering it. But you got the mic in your face. They ask you loaded questions purposely. But at the end of the day, go and watch it. It's a fabulous film. Christina Hodgson is a really, really good writer. And it's awesome. Now, let's talk about the crux of this video. And that's Henry Cavill. Now, since Justice League, there's been so many rumours. We've seen what's happened with Ben Affleck. He looks like he's out as Batman. We'll never see him as Batman again unless we get the Snyder Cut of Justice League, maybe this April. Fingers crossed. But with Henry, it's been very interesting because him and Ben have had the same space of time since Justice League. We know that Ben's not involved in the next Batman film, unless he is. Who knows? Anything's possible. But anyway, he came out and said, I'm not Batman. And he said it like, look, I don't know. It's funny. It's interesting to see what happens with him. But we kind of know that he's not kind of involved for now, right? But with Henry Cavill, it's been very, very interesting. We had the whole Hollywood Reporter thing saying that about a couple of years ago, saying that Warner Brothers were giving Superman a rest. And then there was the whole thing that Henry Cavill wouldn't be playing Superman again. Then he kind of... He came on an Instagram video, and remember what he did there? Was he holding a mug or something? I can't remember what he was doing. But he was holding some kind of Superman thing. Was it a cape? Anyway. And his agent told us that the cape is still in his cupboard, which made us all very happy. Those of us who love Henry as Superman. I think what it is now, and I think the success of The Witcher has changed everything. It really has, because he's got so many options now. And as I said before, The Witcher is a big game. And part of the success of this show, of course, is because of the popularity of that game. But that just would have went on from the first and the second. No one's going to stream every single episode of a show that's crap, right? Views would have gone off, and they haven't. The ratings have been through the roof, and Netflix have been very honest about that. So what can we put this down to? A popular game, obviously, But Henry Cavill is a very popular young actor. It's as simple as that. And a lot of people went in to watch this show because they love his Superman. And Warner Brothers are watching. Walter Hamada and J.J. Abrams are watching. So now he has a pick of whatever he wants to do. He wants to play Superman. There's no question about that. I believe he will come in for Shazam 2 and Black Adam, which is the first film out of the Shazam universe to come into theatres. I think we'll see him in both those films. I'm very, very confident about that. So I do feel in some element, he will play Superman. Whether he'll be in J.J. Abrams' Superman movie is different because there's so many different expanded universes within DC movies now. Who knows what's going to happen? But he's got options. I mean, right now, Barbara Broccoli and her team will be sitting there with their think tanks trying to decide who's going to play the new James Bond, which won't be a woman. We know that. That's ridiculous. James Bond is a man, basically. James Bond. He's a man. He's a bloke. Forget about it, right? Move on. It's silly talk. Anyway, Henry Cavill has been, I think he even auditioned for Bond once. So Henry Cavill, I'm sure, would love to play James Bond. But I think his priority is to go back and play Superman. But the whole will he, won't he question is very interesting now. And I think he has got options. I think he will return for the next two Mission Impossibles, even though it looked like in the last Mission Impossible for me was dead. I think he'll be back for that as well. I think he has got a chance to play James Bond. I mean, I think he could play James Bond and Superman. There's no question about that. It depends when the next Bond after this one, right, is going to be shot and everything. But I think you'd have to be looking at a couple of years or whenever, because it's got to be written yet, obviously. So there will be time for him to do a Superman movie, do his cameos in Shazam 2 and Black Adam. So basically, I think this is a situation now where I believe Henry will play Superman again. But as I say, he's a man with options. And the reason, one of the major reasons that The Witcher has been successful for me is because people love him as Superman. But what do you think? Are you excited about Zack Snyder's release the Snyder Cut poster, Justice League poster competition? What do you think? Do you want Henry as Superman, or do you want to start fresh again? I want Henry as Superman, but if it doesn't happen, I'll be excited to see who they cast. Always important when you cast Superman that he looks like Superman, but that he can bloody well act. And I believe George Reeves could act, Tom Welling could act eventually when he got experience. Obviously, Brandon Routh, excellent Superman as well. Henry Cavill can act as well. They all went to stage school. They're all really good professional actors, and we must keep that going. But hopefully, from what I'm hearing, Henry will return as Superman. So please comment down below. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll be back tomorrow with even more DCEU Daily. See you then. Thanks for tuning in. Even if you gave me a thumbs down, it's cool.